Right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our channel. My name is Mandana White, and I'm the CEO of Smart Grid Forums. And today I'm joined by Lars-Erik Smevold, who is the head of R&D at KraftCERT in Norway. Now, Lars-Erik will be giving the opening presentation during the Cybersecurity Day at our IC 61850 Week 2021 event in October. And he's kindly agreed to join us today to give us a preview of what he'll be sharing at the event. So welcome, Lars-Erik. I'm delighted to have you on the channel today.
Thank you so much, Mandana.
So, Lars-Erik, you hold a fairly unique position within your organization. Well, let's start by just explaining to the viewers the purpose of KraftCERT and also the nature of your own role within the organization.
Yeah, KraftCERT is actually the Norwegian energy sector and control system cert. We have the sector-wise response environment in Norway, part of that. And we are working with the electricity and the oil and gas and water sewage, and also some industrial control systems throughout Norway.
Right.
And for me, I'm now head of R&D, but I'm also an incident handler. So I've been working quite close with the Norsk Hydro case, if you know about that, and also the latest Volue case that actually hit both the Nordics and also some in the European Union companies.
Right. Okay, that's fascinating. So you have quite a broad experience of cybersecurity across multiple critical infrastructure environments. Great, wonderful. Now, at the conference, Lars-Erik, you're going to be opening the Cybersecurity Day with a presentation on the threat landscape. And specifically, you'll be diving into the attack surface, threat vectors, and the bad actors that are likely to pose the greatest risk to IEC 61850 enabled digital substation assets in the next 2 to 3 years. So now let's start with just framing what the drivers were for the work that you've been doing in this area. What prompted you to investigate this?
It started actually out from when the TSO in Norway, Statnett, they wanted to have us on board to help them out in this project that is called Civvin. And because of this, in Norway have this legislation that we need to follow. And in that point of view, we also needed to deep dive into what these new digital substations, what this actually means. Mm-hmm. And what kind of different type of threat pictures are there, what kind of threat actors are in there, and also the dependencies in this infrastructure. What does this actually mean? Because we are moving towards a smarter grid. And there are a lot of different type of dependencies here that are not that well tested and proven at the moment. Yeah.
Right, okay. And so what lessons would you say you've learned so far that could be of benefit to the power grid sector more broadly?
The thing we have learned so far is that there are a lot of dependencies in here, a lot of systems. Mm-hmm. You need a lot of competence and also different types of personnel needed here to understand what it's all about. There are more dependencies in the infrastructure, and there are also some interesting views on the data flow, because we are moving from a more traditional type of substation and over to a digital substation, where it's a more flow of data. And also how can different type of personnel and how can we understand a threat actor, how he will use different vectors to attack these substations, or also part outside the substations. Mm-hmm. So the dependencies are very, very interesting to look into. Mm-hmm. So that's why we want to go deeper into to know more about the threat actors, more about the different vectors that are kind of possible, and also the impossible we want to look into. But we have some different schemes we are going through.
Right, okay. Now you mentioned that the emerging environment, the emerging smart grid environment really requires lots of different competencies, personnel, different skill sets to manage it effectively, and a lot is still unknown. We're also seeing that utilities are engaging more partnerships and creating a more complex ecosystem of suppliers to help them with this challenge. That in itself, although it has huge benefits, brings about challenges too, in the sense that supply chain attacks are becoming more common. Do you have any views on how utilities can leverage a more sophisticated supply chain for their cybersecurity without introducing additional risk into their security chain?
The supply chain topic is actually should be an own. It's quite difficult to answer directly here, but then again, it's very important that the utilities take I would say a kind of offensive approach to it. Look into it. What is it actually we are talking about? Mm-hmm. Because there are a lot of different components that they are buying into the infrastructure. The components and the software, hardware are in there for 10, 20 to 30 years. Mm-hmm. And the thing here is that if you can go deep down into also hardware security, mm-hmm. that is also a very interesting topic. But be offensive, be part of R&D projects that have this as on a focus, mm-hmm. and look into the supply chain.
Yeah.
This is very important. We are dependent on them.
And in terms of the single most threatening vector and bad actor, do you have an idea, if you had to name one vector that utilities should really keep an eye on over the next couple of years, what would that be?
I think it's, if there is one, I should say time synchronization.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. Right. Okay. Now, how can utilities use all of the information you've gathered so far to protect the grid in the next 2 to 3 years? What are your top 3 tips?
My top 3 tips is definitely understand your own infrastructure and system of systems. Mm-hmm. Better understanding of the threat picture and also threat actors to mm-hmm. the critical infrastructure, and also establish and train incident response teams that have knowledge in OT and IT environments. I think those 3 are quite important.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you so much, Lars-Erik, for the preview into your presentation. We look forward to the full presentation in October. Mm-hmm. And so that's IEC 61850 Week 2021, which is now going to take place entirely virtually on the Swapcard virtual event platform from the 18th to the 22nd of October. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much, Lars-Erik. You have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Bye-bye for now.